Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. Here's part two of reasons why you need to be a bartender before doing podiatry. Enjoy. I remember that actually reminds me of a really funny story. So I was like the morning bartender has to like come set up the garnishes and everything for the whole day for the time that you're serving customer drinks and also for mainly for the evening bartender. And when I first started, I was so behind in like making garnishes because I was like, okay, I'm not used to this. So you have to make so much in like this short span of time. Of setting up the day bar. You have to get the ice buckets filled and whatever. So we had to make this kind of like a Caesar garnish, which was olives and a little pepperoni and like I think another olive. Oh no, it was a pepperoni, olive, pepperoni. It was a pain in the ass to make. Absolutely hated it. One morning, I just didn't make them. And I was like, fuck it, I don't have time. I'm not going to make them. And it was a Saturday. They were busy. And the evening bartender, they ran out and they were hunting me down. Like, I swear to God, they were so upset. They're like, who didn't make the garnishes this morning? And I'm like, it wasn't me. And I absolutely, like, he ripped me an absolute new one. Ever since then, I've just tried to make sure that, like, as a team player, you pull your weight. Even though it was really cheeky and really funny, I was just being very lazy. I didn't want to make the Caesar garnish. It was a pain in the ass to make. I hated making them, but it kind of teaches you like, okay, other people are counting on you to pull your weight. So try not to be cheeky. That's a really funny story now, though.
Teamwork's so important, and leads us into our next point of culture, like team culture, and just having fun at work as well is so important.
Oh, for sure.
When I was a bartender, like it was still like my best job ever. Like we had so much fun. We had so many good, cool like team gatherings, team culture days, if you want to call them that. They were staff parties, but these days we call in podiatry world we call them team culture days. But
team building exercises.
yeah, basically. But
why do we need tequila for team building? Never mind.
we had so much fun. Like it was just the best job because the bosses always looked after us and so many perks, and it's just a really good culture. Everyone enjoyed each other's company, and that's it's good if you can be a part of something like that and understand how it works, and then that transfers into your podiatry as well.
Oh, for sure. I also feel like bartending it makes you immune to all the stupid shit that's out there. Because like you'll get some guests that come in and they'll say the weirdest things to you, and you get exposed to that so much that you're like, this doesn't even faze me anymore. Like you could say anything. You could say like the weirdest thing, man. Like, we're not gonna judge you.
Yeah, you just go along with it. Try to understand where they're coming from and what they mean, and then move on.
Yeah. I mean, we all say really stupid things. Sometimes I think we have a quota of dumb things. We just need to get it out of our system, and then we're fine.
Just joke it off.
Yeah, just joke it off. Exactly. And that kind of like, I feel like that kind of helps you not to take things so seriously as well. And I'm still struggling with that. Like, there's a lot of things that they'll end up getting under my skin. Like, I'll be like unfazed in the moment, but then I'll ruminate about it, however you want to say that. But then it'll like completely just like eat away at me. And eventually I'm like, oh, that really annoyed me. Like, why did that person say that?
When you're a new graduate podiatrist, you really take everything personally, and because you're just starting out, you're trying to really make a name for yourself or prove yourself to your employer, to your patients, to yourself. You're trying to really and you take things personally whenever you get like a bad feedback or something, or something doesn't go right. You really take it hard, and which is a good thing in a way, because you're always looking for ways to improve and better yourself. But at the same time, you got to cut yourself some slack and
oh, for sure.
Some people are just dicks as well. Some people you don't get along with, and
Some people you just need to write off like, okay, like that's just them. It's not personal. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not personal. I think that's a point I would emphasize. Like anything that happens is definitely not personal.
it'd be good if you could call security, right? Like we used to in the bar. You just
Oh my
get on the
God.
get on
See,
the get on the radio. Security to the rock club.
see, I used to work in this like I can't say the name. I think for legal reasons I'm not allowed to say like where I used to work, but I used to work at this like Italian restaurant and we used to make so like the bartender would have to make drinks for the restaurant and also the guests in the bar as well. So they were like they had I feel like they had the toughest job for sure. Um where was I going with this? I think I had a point. I forgot what point I was trying to make. Oh right, yes, sorry.
It's something
So
in that tea.
so we didn't have any security. So like if we needed to get rid of somebody from the bar, we had to like call the manager and then they would have to question us and then question them and then question us and then the person would leave. But I feel like we didn't really have that luxury of just saying, security, get this person out of
Yeah,
here.
just kidding. Yeah, we could. I could just kick out whoever I wanted.
That's
Which is good.
amazing.
It'd be good if we could do that sometimes in the podiatry clinic.
Yeah. So arbitrary too. Why'd you kick him out? Because he was wearing a green t-shirt and that's not my favorite color, so he had to go. Like
Yeah,
as arbitrary as that.
sometimes we had like a dress code. So like imagine if you had that in your podiatry business. You're not allowed to enter unless you're wearing the right shoes. I don't know.
Oh, Jesus, yeah. Right. So how are you rating this beer? How are you finding it so far?
PB, it's all right. It's harsh. Goes
All
down
right.
like razor blades for the first one, but yeah, have a few more of those and it'll be right. It's it's a good beer. It's a classic Aussie beer for Australia Day. I thought I'd whip this one out.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah. What's in your tea?
definitely not alcohol. My mom's going to be watching this, so not alcohol. It is alcohol-free tea, unfortunately. It's just regular old tea. I don't know. I'm so boring. I just didn't want to like mess up like placement. I didn't want to be hungover going into placement because it's my last day in placement where I can actually talk to my case study and really
Mm.
just like pick their brains. And I really didn't want to be hungover and like miss any details because I'm so like picky about this case study. And I've literally like, I was emailing my professor at like yonks hours in the morning, just trying to be like, is this okay? Like, is this structure okay? Like, help. And he's just like, freaking out, just go to bed and like relax.
Yeah.
But yeah.
With your placements, do you like I know with our placements in Australia, like we didn't actually know much going into them and we didn't actually um learn much as far as like clinical skills. Like I'm more the biggest thing I got out of placements was just getting an overall feel for what the place like felt like and the work environment and the sort of clientele they see and how things run in a clinic and that sort of thing.
Mhm,
Like so say for example, deciding between working in public health versus private health. Well,
mhm.
when I went to the hospital, I absolutely hated it. So I knew I'm not a public health podiatrist, which I already
Okay.
knew anyway.
Oh,
But then yeah, when I was working in the private clinics, I enjoyed that more. So
okay.
that's more what I got out of my placements is more just the overall feel of things rather than actually any sort of clinical skills. Or I don't think you need to worry about that unless you're getting assessed on that. Do you have like exams with your placement?
So we have this thing called a Pebble Pad, which is it's basically an assessment software, and they assess how you've done on placement. So I think that is I think it's pass fail.
Mm.
So you get assessed on your clinical skills pretty much. For the second year, I think it's just like debriding and corneal enucleations and just like basic stuff. But however, with COVID restrictions, I think everybody's placement has a different structure set up. So like just like talking to my classmates and like some of the things that I've heard, some people are allowed to like kind of not treat patients, but under supervision, they can like do callus debriding and stuff like that, like very basic foot care, clip toenails, etc. Or like with my placement, for example, like I have to keep a distance because it's a diabetic wound clinic. So
Mm,
they're so at risk. I'm not even supposed to be in the same room as them. It's just observational. So my callus debriding skills and my corner nucleating skills, I would have to practice that at the clinic that I study at. So it's
mm.
different. It depends like it depends where you're placed pretty much. And I think with COVID, it doesn't make anything easier. I feel like if, this wasn't the case, I think we all would kind of be on the same boat. Like it would be more assessing our clinical skills. Um, and I think that's what Northampton is kind of looking for, is like they're putting out these podiatrists and they need to be sure that they're, you can like the university can vouch for them. They can vouch for our clinical skills. So that's
Yeah, for sure.
it.
Yeah.
That was a long explanation of, I think, a very simple question you
Yeah.
asked.
No, no. I mean, a lot of students like go into like they're really worried in their placements and they study a lot for their placements. Like they are stressed about their clinical skills. But
Yeah.
as we've seen that, or as I know that a lot of business owners, when we ask them what they're looking for in a new graduate, clinical skills isn't even mentioned. Because
Interesting.
you can always learn clinical skills. It's the people skills, it's the communication, it's the
Yeah.
problem solving, it's the punctuality, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
All that stuff's way more important as a new graduate.
I think like I think that's totally fair, that that's a really good kind of thing that they look for, and I completely agree with that. However, I think it's a little bit unfair when you have students that are a little bit socially awkward, but they're amazing. They have got amazing clinical skills. They just can't really sell themselves in an interview. I think
Yeah,
there needs to be something, and I don't know, like I've not really done my research to fully say this with confidence, but I don't think there's enough out there for graduates and new graduates, especially like any kind of like tips, like direct tips of like, okay, this is how you need to prepare. Because some people need like directions, like, okay, do this, this, and this. Some people work really well with like very vague advice.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like there's not enough directed advice for like new grads when it comes to interviews and how to absolutely ace that. Like even if you're socially awkward, if you know how to make that charming, then I think you'll be able to ace that interview. But the thing is like how? How are you going to tell them? How are you going to teach them that? Go to
Yeah, you want to
drone
be
school.
authentic. You want to be authentic, right? You don't want
Yeah.
to be someone you're not, and then when you start working there, obviously they're going to be disappointed because you can't keep that persona up for so long if you're trying to be something that you're not. So
Yeah.
you just be yourself, and if communication and people skills, like if you haven't been a bartender, and you don't have that skill, then it's something
Hmm.
you can work on. There are courses you can do in communication skills,
Yeah.
and I personally I think it should be taught more at university. Like I'm still learning it and developing it myself, but I'm certainly a lot better at it now than I was when I graduated.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there should be courses and units at university on communication and people skills. Hundred
I
percent.
think, what? I think we do have something called Changemaker that does offer that, but I'll have to look more into it. But yeah, no, I fully agree with what you're saying. It needs to be taught, at university, like a Sunday class or something.
Yeah, there might be places where those sort of people who don't have those people skills are more suited to. Like there might be different work environments
Hmm.
where yeah they can go in and do a good job and that sort of thing. Like or maybe if they have like a language barrier or something like that, there might be
Mm.
certain communities and places within towns that service that population group and they can thrive there
Yeah,
because I know my partner Danny, she works in a Greek community in Melbourne. So
that's
and
right. Yeah.
the boss is Greek, and so all the Greek patients around there come to that clinic, and she's having to like learn Greek while she's working there. But if you
Yeah.
were Greek, like they'd be able to talk to you, and the patients would love that. So maybe with those people, they can look for something like that.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a place for everyone somewhere, but
Oh, for
as
sure.
as a private practice, as a business owner, like you're gonna if you got two people and one of them can't communicate well, you're not going to choose them. You're going to choose the other person,
Yeah.
and that's just the way it is. So unfortunately, yeah, those people probably have to either find somewhere that's good for them or develop their people
Yeah,
skills and communication, which is always helpful. I'd
for
probably
sure.
recommend it. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, it's been amazing talking to you as always. I hope people find this incredibly helpful, and I hope they found the funny in this because this is meant to be a very like lighthearted, fun video, but also kind of they take away some good stuff. And just apply what they like to them and see if they can develop. And I'm gonna stop talking now because I don't know how to end this video. Anyways, thank you so much, and I will catch up with you later. Bye.
Bye.